Naima Rahman's plot was as audacious as it was deadly. The 20-year-old from Finchley planned a suicide attack on Downing Street, wanting to kill the guards and then behead the Prime Minister. He'd become obsessed with the so-called Islamic State after the death of an uncle in Syria, but was caught in a trap set by the Met Police and the FBI as he researched his plan online. He was arrested after collecting what he thought was a rucksack packed with explosives. Today he was found guilty of preparing a terrorist attack, as Simon Harris reports.
Wandering around Whitehall with his hood up in the November drizzle, Naima Rahman attracted little attention from passers-by. That's just how he wanted it. For Rahman was on a reconnaissance mission to check out his target. The 20-year-old North Londoner was planning to set off a bomb at the gates to Downing Street and then use the chaos to get inside number 10. There, he planned to stab the Prime Minister. Rahman could hardly have chosen a more secure target. Downing Street is one of the best protected places in London. All of this would have been obvious to him as he walked past. Yet Rahman was determined to go ahead with his suicide mission. His anger was fueled in part by the death of a close relative in a drone strike in Syria. Rahman was the nephew of 3 men, all with links to Islamic State, also known as Daesh.
He had 3 uncles. So one uncle was in Syria affiliated to Daesh. He was killed subsequently in a drone strike. And we believe that was part of his motivation that led him to wishing to mount an attack here in the UK. He also had 2 other uncles that were arrested and imprisoned for terrorist financing.
This is Rahman on the left with a friend in a piri-piri chicken restaurant in London. He didn't know it, but his every move was being watched by the police and MI5, and Rahman was being lured into a trap. A trap which saw him exchange messages like this one. Can you put me in a sleeper cell ASAP? I want to do a suicide bomb on Parliament. I want to attempt to kill Theresa May. This is Rahman wearing white headphones in the queue at Argos, where he bought a rucksack. And this is his jacket after it was converted into a suicide vest by his Islamic State handler, a man called Shaq. Only Shaq was really an undercover police officer, and the explosives were fake. So was the bomb he was given. More fake explosives packed in a pressure cooker. At one point, Rahman recorded this bizarre testimonial for a friend who, it was said, planned to travel to Islamic State territory. Rahman knew if his attack was successful, Islamic State would regard him as a hero and a martyr and accept his reference. But Rahman's plot was in part a work of fiction co-written by Scotland Yard. Once detectives had enough evidence, Rahman was stopped in his tracks, his arrest in Kensington filmed by a police drone. Today, he was found guilty of preparing acts of terrorism, his plea of innocence and protests of entrapment rejected by the jury. Fortunately for the police officers who guard the gates and the tourists who crowd the pavement, Downing Street's fortress-like defences were not tested. Simon Harris, ITV News, Downing Street.
It is a shocking statistic that close to half of all robberies carried out in England and Wales are now in London. That's more than 30,000 in the last year, a figure that's gone up by 1/3 in the last 12 months. Today, the Mayor said we all have a part to play in bringing crime down in the capital, but Sadiq Khan is coming under increasing pressure tonight to fix a problem that's been getting gradually worse since he came to power 2 years ago. Here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
Lawless London got a new title today, the robbery capital of Britain. As fresh statistics confirmed London's status, the Met put on a show for the cameras, allowing a series of early morning raids on suspected drug dealers to be filmed. The message was meant to be reassuring.
Violent crime, from the statistics, is increasing, but it's still a very rare occasion for somebody to be a victim of crime.
But not rare enough. In the year up to March, more than 32,000 Londoners were robbed, up 35%. A staggering 42% of all robberies in England and Wales happen in London. It's not hard to find someone who knows someone who's a victim of crime.
My friend actually in Oxford Street here.
My son was robbed a while ago, but he managed to get his phone back.
What happened?
They took his phone out of his hand on a moped.
Another friend of mine was marked. He was standing by the bus stop and checking his mobile phone for the time of the bus. And a motorcycle came and they just grabbed his telephone from his hand.
Scotland Yard says its attempts to crack down on moped and scooter crime are yielding results, but no senior officers would talk to us today about the overall rise in robberies. The Met's response was a statement which effectively said, yes, crime's going up in London, but it's even worse in some other parts of the country, which was also the Mayor's message.
Crime is rising across the country, and between April 2017 and March 2018, it rose by 32% in Durham. In the same period, the Met saw an increase of only 6.4%.
Dwayne Brooks is best known as the friend who was with Stephen Lawrence when he was murdered, but he also advises the police on stop and search and now wants to challenge Sadiq Khan as the Conservative candidate for mayor.
The fact that London is now more unsafe than what it was before he's elected shows that he is not the right person for London.
What would you do?
I would get rid of the mayor.
Another answer, according to a London Labour MP who chairs the Youth Violence Commission, is for the mayor to adopt what's known as a public health model.
What the public health model means is all of the different agencies working together, so the police, the education system, the social work system, the healthcare system, and actually coming together, diagnosing the problem, finding solutions.
2018 has not been a good year for law and order in London. Murders and robberies have both reached alarming levels. Simon Harris, ITV News.
Oh, Simon is here now. Simon, we've heard from the Mayor, we've heard from his critics. How high a priority should this be for him now?
Well, it's certainly become one of his biggest priorities, even before today's robbery statistics, because of the surge in shootings and stabbings. The Mayor continues to argue that violent crime in London is a national problem, which needs a national solution from Minister, and he's demanding more money from the government for more police. But as we heard from Dwayne Brooks there, the Mayor's record and his leadership is going to be increasingly challenged by whoever the Tories choose in the next few months to be their candidate for mayor in 2020. And if you ask about the Mayor's priorities, let's not forget he's also got to deal with that small matter of the impact of Brexit on London.
Yes, indeed. Simon, thank you.